So again, it's earnings season. One of the big news to come out of earnings season was happened last week when Netflix reported a loss of 200,000 subscribers. The stock crashed on earnings last Wednesday, 35%, and then Pershing Square pulled all their stock out last Friday. What went wrong here, Luke, with Netflix? And is this an indication of what's going to happen with other streaming stocks?
What went wrong with Netflix is a lack of innovation, and is this indicative of a broader contagion across the streaming industry, the digital media industry? The answer is no. What happened in Netflix is endemic to Netflix. It's a Netflix problem. So let's kind of dig into that. Netflix has a long history, a very impressive track record of robust innovation. They were the first to create a DVD by mail subscription service. That was a huge hit. Then they were the first to really pioneer solo streaming. That was a huge hit. Then they were the first to pioneer original content in the solo streaming world. That was a huge hit. So what you see is that the company has every 4 or 5 years, 6 or 7 years sometimes, come up with some big new innovation that leapfrogs the platform, the service, to a whole new playing field and creates enormous growth opportunities. That's Netflix's history. The problem is that we are now about 6 or 7 years removed from the last big innovation for Netflix. The last big innovation was original content. It started in the earlier 2010s, but it really got rolling in 2016, summer 2016, with the Stranger Things phenomenon. Stranger Things was the sort of blockbuster original hit that, at least on Wall Street, solidified that Netflix's original content strategy was working. The stock went from like 80 to 120 after the Q3 earnings report that summer, and then it was off to the races ever since then. So that was 2016. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. Here we are 6-7 years removed from that. And what has Netflix done? They've continued to pound the table on original content, which is great, but they haven't done anything else. Now, that wouldn't be a problem if it weren't for the fact that there are a lot of competitors coming to the market doing the exact same thing. HBO Max has original content. Disney Plus has original content. Apple TV Plus has original content. Even free ones like the Roku channel have original content. So all these new competitors are coming into the streaming space, and they're doing the exact same thing as Netflix, making original content. So Netflix no longer is on a higher playing field. Everybody's on Netflix's playing field. Now, what Netflix traditionally does is they come up with some innovation that leapfrogs them onto a new playing field, and then the rest of the industry plays catch up. But right now, they're not doing that. And as a result, they are just swamped in competition, and they are losing subscribers. They are especially losing subscribers domestically, where all of the services I just mentioned are very easily accessible. So this is a big problem for Netflix. They need to think of some big breakthrough that's going to recharge the growth narrative. Is that going to be an ad-supported version? Maybe. Reed Hastings sounds open to that, but I'm skeptical that's really a breakthrough innovation. That's more of a concession, if anything. So I would not hang my hat on that being the breakthrough for Netflix to recharge the growth narrative. Could it be gaming, interactive content, virtual augmented reality stuff? That one's a bit more promising, but Netflix hasn't really shown much traction there. I remember when they had that. Do you watch Black Mirror, Aaron?
Yep. The episode where you could kind of choose your own adventure style.
Yeah. So it was a movie, and I remember when that came out, and I was super excited about it. I'm like, this could be big for Netflix, but they never really went anywhere. I mean, there's a couple of interactive shows and movies on there, but it's not the widespread phenomenon that original content is. So there's promise there, potential there, but Netflix doesn't seem to be executing on that vertical all that well. International expansion, as you can see, that's also drying up. You can look at the numbers, so that's really not a breakthrough. But point being is Netflix needs a breakthrough to recharge the growth narrative because they're just becoming another commoditized streaming, not commoditized, but just another streaming service in a universe of lots of streaming services. So this is a Netflix problem, and it's a big problem.
So,
But go ahead.
so with you say that all these other streaming services have kind of caught up to Netflix, but it is a relatively level playing field as of right now. Is there any streaming services that are supplementing that innovation that Netflix isn't right now? I know you do have a streaming service that you're very bullish about. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about that and why that.
Yeah. So
why
there. Yeah. So I before we get into that, I think it's very important to note that what's happening to Netflix is not happening to other streamers.
Okay.
We have access to some very cool web analytics data that we reference all the time in our research. And that data showed that Netflix is indeed seeing a drop off in online engagement. App downloads are down, web traffic is down. The trends do not look good over there. When we look at other streaming platforms, subscription platforms, Spotify, HBO Max, Apple TV, Disney Plus, Hulu, Roku channel, FuboTV, YouTube TV. The trends are not Netflix trends. The trends are actually continued to be very strong, very positive, up and to the right. So based on that data alone, we're very confident in saying that what's happening to Netflix is not happening across the whole digital media sphere. Indeed, Snap reported earnings last week, and they added 13 million users in the quarter. That's the same number of daily active users that they added in a quarter. That's the same cadence that they've been adding users for the past 6 quarters. So Snap's user growth trajectory, digital engagement is not falling like Netflix's. Netflix has a Netflix problem, not a digital media problem.
Okay.
So other digital media platforms are not falling victim to the same thing that Netflix is falling victim to. In the streaming space, yes, what we want to see is that original content has become somewhat commoditized. So we want to look for companies, streamers that are doing something beyond that. They're going above and beyond original content, and they're building new features, new value adds for subscribers. And a company that is doing that we think is pretty cool is FuboTV. FuboTV is trying to be a sports-focused streamer that is integrating sports betting. So their vision is to have a all-in-one integrated sports betting and watching platform. You can be at home, watch the game, have 6 or 7 games up, all the European soccer games, maybe an MLB game, maybe an NBA game. You have them all going on, and you have a little dashboard in the middle where you can place bets and you can track stats and you can make or lose money. That is a unique platform. That is a massive differentiator. FuboTV is admittedly still a ways away from fully developing that platform, but they are making inroads. They are getting licenses. They are acquiring all the sports content. They've already launched their sports book. They have multiple picture-in-picture viewing experiences. The platform is making steps towards becoming that. And if FuboTV succeeds in building that platform, that's a platform that could easily have 10, 15, 20 million subscribers in the US alone that are very sticky and spend a lot of money on it. And FuboTV will make a lot of revenues off that subscriber base at pretty high margins. So if they succeed, the upside potential there is pretty attractive. That's a streaming stock that's worth a look here. Netflix is not. I think you got to pass on Netflix and look for other options elsewhere. I mean, even something like Disney, I think, is better at this point. Something like Apple is better at this point. Netflix is just kind of over the hill, and until they find that breakthrough innovation to really propel them to the next stage of growth, it's going to be dead money.
So you talk about how Fubo has this almost interactive nature within the service built in and around it, and whereas Netflix, as we've already discussed, is just content delivery. It's just delivering the sometimes original content, sometimes licensed content. Is interactivity the route that streaming services you see trending moving forward?
I think it should be. I think as VR technology continues to advance, that should definitely be the way that streamers pivot. No doubt. I think that as headsets become more of a ubiquity, there is potential, and maybe some people will argue with this, but there's potential for in 5 years headsets to be what smartphones are today. So everyone has a smartphone today. In 5 years, everyone's gonna have a headset at their house. And if not smartphones, then they're at least the new gaming consoles. So they'll be in 40-50% of homes in the US. In that world, it makes absolute sense for these streamers to build enormous catalogs of interactive content to integrate with those VR headsets. I think that is definitely the route that these streamers should be looking to go. It looked like Netflix was trying that, maybe pulled back from it. I'm not sure why, but I think that's a route they should more aggressively pursue if they're looking to recharge their growth, which they obviously are.
Thanks for watching HGI Clips. For the full episode, head on over to our sister channel at Hypergrowth Investing by clicking the link in the description or listen to the podcast on any of your favorite streaming platforms. We make new episodes every Wednesday, so make sure to check it out and subscribe to never miss any of Luke's Hypergrowth insights.